I just saw my wife downstairs. We just got done with our men's group. And if you haven't been to one of our men's groups, it is from 7:30 to 8:30, Tuesday mornings here in Carlsbad. Absolutely amazing. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, my name is Kelly Cardenas. This is an episode of Inchstones. We take 3,000-year-old wisdom and we see how it can apply to today. So my wife says to me, people won't hear what you say. They won't see what you do. They'll only hear where they're at. And she said this to me nonchalantly and then turned around and went to walk back into Disneyland. And she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I had just got off stage. I spoke to about 2,500 people at a convention. And then I asked the question that you should never ask. As the people rushed the stage and they wanted to take pictures and they were thanking me for the speech that I had just done. And I said, "What did you take from what I said?" And they were like, "Oh, it changed my life. It was life-changing. It was all these things." And then they told me all the things that I said, and none of them were anything that I had even talked about. And that's why I was a little bit down, because we were walking into Disneyland afterwards, because I did the convention at Disneyland Hotel. And as we're going to walk in, my wife said that, saying to me, "People won't hear what you say. They won't see what you do. They'll only hear where they are at." And see, this morning when I went on my dog walk, I opened up a email, and it was an amazing email newsletter. If you aren't subscribed to it, you should check it out. It's Jason Pfeiffer. He's the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. And if you want to hear him, he's on the podcast. I reached out to him, and he was amazing. His episode was phenomenal. You need to check it out. But in it, it talked about sometimes you need to, lose hope or quit on that or whatever it was. And it went down and it talked about there's sometimes where you don't need to keep holding on. You just need to let it go. The ideas, you could think about dating the ideas as opposed to marrying them. And I was like, man, this is so amazing, right? It was so incredible. Then I got an email or a text message from the dean of the Paul Mitchell Schools, which is Win Claybaugh, a good buddy of mine. And he had a quote, and it said, sometimes when you're walking through hell, I mean, he was talking about people quitting, because he said, most podcasts, 90% of them quit within the first year. And he said, when you're walking through hell, don't stop, sit down, and create camp, basically. And what it was talking about is when you're in the tough times, forge through it. Well, the email before said that if you hit tough times, sometimes it's a sign for you to stop doing that thing. So they were conflicting truths, but they were both amazing. And then what God revealed to me was that it went back to what my wife said. People won't hear what you say. They won't see what you do. They'll only hear where they are at. And what God said to me is, if you're not rooted and grounded in my truth, in the truth, then the truth will always be a moving target that will be fueled by your emotions. And Proverbs 3 lists it out and helps us to understand what the truth actually is. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never know, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Trust, lean, submit. Trust, lean, submit. Trust, lean, submit. Proverbs 3 is probably one of my favorite Proverbs of all time, because, I think this is a big one, is because my dad used to tell me all the time, trust, lean, submit. Trust in the Lord with all your hearts. Lean not to your own understanding. Submit to him in all your ways, and he will make your paths straight. And this is what I would hear from my pops all of the time. He would constantly be saying this. And so when I say it's one of my favorites, I think it brings back the memory of my pop. And but I want us to be able to think about this. And we went through it in our men's group today. And I kind of listed everything off before But one of my buddies, his name is Craig, and he was saying, he loves this because to be able to think about it, if you trust in something, then you can lean on it. If you can lean on it, then you could submit to it, and when you submit to it, that'll make your path straight, or it'll give you it'll light up your path to where you need to go. And then we were talking about it in reverse. If your path isn't straight, most likely it's because you haven't submitted. Well, you can't submit unless you've leaned, and you won't lean unless you trust. And so in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, that's exactly what it talks about. And Proverbs 3 invites us to trust in the Lord with all our heart, lean not to our own understanding, in all our ways submit to him, and he will make our path straight. This way, the truth will no longer be a moving target that is powered by our emotions. How powerful is that right off the bat? Right off the bat. And with our men's group, we talked about it in different challenges or situations that that we had in. And what I'm going to invite you to do is, number one, you need to go to Amazon right now and grab Inchstones, which is the Vibe Within. It's we called it a workbook, but it's a playbook. But it'll make you do the work. It's a journal. It has the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. I've been studying this for over 30 years, and it has been amazing. I was telling my brother last night, I said, look, if a person was to take the Vibe or the journal, right? The Vibe Within, Inchstones, they were to take that, they were to get it on Amazon, which is very simple to be able to get. And they get that. And then they go through the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And there's 3 questions that you answer each day. 1, what verse hit you in your heart? Number 2, what did it make you think about? And number 3, what action can you add to it? If you did that for 30 days, just 30 days, your marriage, you would start to see things transform in your marriage. You would see things transform in your work. You would see things transform in your relationships. And what I was telling him is, I believe this at my core. The reason why is because this is what I've been doing for the last 30 years. It's been unbelievable. And what you'll see is there is a circle in the book that I've listed out, and there's a graphic of it, that it starts with the fear of God. That is the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom then will bring knowledge, because wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and there's no reason to get knowledge unless you have wisdom in the first place, which is the right use. So you go from fear of God, it'll bring wisdom, that'll bring knowledge, that'll bring understanding, insight. That insight will be able to bring discretion. Discretion will bring discernment. Discernment will bring discipline. Discipline will bring strength. And I think I forgot understanding. So it's knowledge and understanding. I think I did say that. But it's a circle, right? And so I invite you, go right now, stop what you're doing with the podcast and stop it for a second, go in the link in the bio, get your book, get your journal, and then roll through this. And so in our men's group, we were talking about this because there's a lot of times where God will give us a tool, but we don't use it, right? And so I asked the guys, I said, how can you add action? Because we go through and we read the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and we read through, and there's 35 verses today in Proverbs 5 or Proverbs 3, and there was 3 of us, so we did 12 verses apiece. And then I said, we talked about what verse stuck out to you. And that verse, I said, okay, I want to ask you now, where specifically can you add action to that in your life? And that's when it becomes real. So with me on my dog walk this morning, as I'm walking the dog, Ziggy and Skylar, Ziggy's pulling, Skylar's pulling the other way because she just wants to be a lady of leisure. I read Jason Pfeiffer's newsletter, which is awesome. Sometimes you need to give up on hope. And I was like, wow, that's strong. But then it made me read the rest of it. It was phenomenal. Great newsletter. I would definitely suggest it. And then Win Claybaugh, the Podfather, I call him, because for the last 30 years, he's been doing these podcasts, but he did them in CD form way back in the day. And then, but he sent me that stat. He said, let me read this to you. He said that, what is it? 90%. Okay, here it is. 90% of new podcasts will fail within the first year. That's because of workflow. So holler at your boy too, because I can help you with that. Please, people start something, which is the easy part, but then give up, switch courses, jump around. They do this with relationships, the gym, and business ideas. And then he put, I love the message of when you're in hell, keep going rather than stopping and setting up camp. Right. So this was a complete opposite of the newsletter that I read right beforehand. Jason Pfeiffer saying this one, Glenn Claybaugh saying this one. Both of them are very successful people. It was amazing. But I was listening to it based off of where I was at. And where I was at was based off my emotions, my circumstances, all those things. And what God was saying is, as long as you are based off your circumstances and your emotions, the truth is always going to be a moving target that will be fueled by those emotions. And so he let me know in Proverbs 3 that he wants us to store up the truth, right? And so get this, in verse 1 and 2, seek, store up, and apply, and never forget wisdom. Fill up your heart with wisdom and guard it at the highest level. What is wisdom? The right use of knowledge. Where do we get it? From the fear of God. He said, seek, store up, and never forget, right? But in the sentence in verse 1 and 2, he just said, never forget. Well, I think that the most important part of that sentence is what wasn't said in the words, but was there in the meaning. He said, never forget. Well, you can't forget something you didn't know. So he's saying, get to know me and then never forget me, right? And that's in verse 1 and 2. In verse 3 and 4, fill your heart with love and faithfulness. Think about it often, and this will create a good name in the sight of God and man. Now, some people want to separate, hey, this is my spiritual side. This is my, this is the worldly side or whatever it is. And we talked about this in our men's group. And I believe that God gives us a pattern and the principles and the wisdom on how to have a great relationship with him and how to have a great relationship in this world with other people. How do we have a good name with God and man? Think about a person in your life that has that side. I thought about it with my buddy Craig. He's a phenomenal businessman, very savvy, he's an incredible guy, got high integrity, and he also is a man of God. So you can have both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And in verse 5 and 6, and this is a big shout out to my big brother, Rob. If you're not checking out Cardenas Law Group, you need to check it out. But first of all, get the book, the Inchstones, The Vibe Within, and get your journal. It's got, what I didn't tell you is it has the journal, but it has a space for 3 months of journal. So you'll see April 1st when you read Proverbs 1, then you'll do May 1st, then you'll do June 1st, and you'll be able to see your progress as you go through. You'll get 4 of these. You could buy them in a 4-pack, for the year. And then you have them for your Bible study. You have them for just yourself. It's unbelievable. But back to my brother, Cardenas Law Group, there in Las Vegas, the top law firm. That guy is an absolute beast. And this is a shout out to you because this is what our pops said all the time. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, and in all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Let's break it down. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Every single thing that you truly believe inside of your heart, trust him with it. Once you trust him with it, then lean not to your own understanding, not to your own circumstances, not to your own education, but lean to his, because his ways are better than our ways. And in all your ways, not some of them, all your ways, personally, professionally, spiritually, financially, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. It doesn't mean that you won't have any pain. It doesn't mean that there won't be challenges, but it means that he will make your path straight. And this one was wild because as he went on in Proverbs 3, verse 7 through 26, understand and revel in the fact that you don't know it all. Honor God with your wealth, invite discipline, and seek wisdom at all costs. I mean, think of how rich that is right there. Understand and revel in the fact that you don't know it all. This is probably one of the biggest things in that humility, right? Honor God with your wealth, because when you understand and revel in the fact that you don't know it all, there's going to be wealth because you're going to be successful at what you do. And what God is saying is just honor me with the wealth. I don't need it. I just need your attention. Invite discipline and seek wisdom at all costs. What's wisdom? The right use of knowledge. Where can we get that? It's from the fear of God, and the fear of God is just the respect of God. And how can we get that? By spending time with him, right? So there's so much inside of that. And then in verse 27 through 34, be generous, truthful, and do the right thing. I mean, think of that. That's what my buddy Gary Spellman, I shout him out a ton on this, but it's very simple. There's 3 things, right? Be generous, be truthful, and do the right thing. That's what I think about with my brother. That's what I think about with Tim Semmelroth. Tim Semmelroth, the only board certified truck attorney in all of Iowa. It's no wonder why Tim is as successful as he is, because he's generous, he's truthful, and he does the right thing. He's generous with his time. He spends time with law students. He spends time growing the next generation of attorneys. He's generous with his time. He's truthful, and he does the right thing. And this guy is on the highest level. He's an amazing human being. You should go back and listen to the episode with him. I'm actually going to have him on the podcast again, which is amazing. And then finally, as we finish up, is verse 35. And watch this. Wisdom brings honor and foolishness brings shame. Wisdom, right use and knowledge, comes from the fear of God. It brings honor. Foolishness, which is the absence of wisdom, so just very simple, absence of wisdom brings shame. So it gives us the opportunity to choose. And if you were to choose, like, choose wisdom, get honor, get a great name, be generous, truthful, do the right thing, understand and revel in the fact that you don't know it all, honor God with your wealth, invite discipline, seek wisdom at all costs, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding, submit to him in all your ways, and he will make your path straight. Fill your heart with love and faithfulness, seek it, store it up, apply it, and never forget wisdom. And then guard it at all costs. None of that, there's no negative to it. Now let's take the absence of all the things that I said there. That's foolishness. And so what God was saying in this is the simplicity of God's love is simply to trust him, lean on him, and ultimately submit to his will. And he will make your path straight. His ways are always better than our ways. And my wife's words that day were so simple, but yet cut through the nonsense with surgical precision. When I was walking out and I was down because I had asked my audience of 2,500, over 2,500, what did you take from what I said? I was so mad because they told me things that I didn't say. But my wife helped me to realize that people won't hear what you say. They won't see what you do. They'll only hear where they are at. And if that's the case, and we're swaying off where we're at, the truth will always be a moving target. And what God is saying is he doesn't want it to be a moving target that's fueled by our emotions and our circumstances. He wants us to be rooted and grounded in his truth and his love. And it's simple. As soon as you ask for it, you get it. No questions asked. That's been Proverbs 3, probably one of my favorites in the world. If you haven't got Inchstones, the workbook, The Vibe Within, I invite you to do so. It's on Amazon. You can check it out. And I'm actually going to be doing a boot camp together with some people that's going to be amazing. We're also going to have a live event that's going to be coming soon. We're going to be announcing that. I believe it's going to be in September here in Carlsbad. So be on the lookout for that. Check out the book, The Vibe, too, and support as much as you possibly can. The greatest compliment that you could ever give is by sharing it with a friend who you think needs to hear this. It's been Proverbs 3, another episode of Inchstones. Thank you so much for being here with me and tuning in every morning. I appreciate you. If you're not subscribed on Substack too, that's where the newsletter goes out. So you get a newsletter every week on Friday. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win.